Oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico suffered serious damage each of the last 2 years when they failed to get out of the way of hurricanes. Well, tonight in part 2 of our David Hammer investigation, the federal government is imposing new rules this hurricane season to try to prevent more deep-water danger.
Cell phone videos tell some of the story. Hurricane Ida battering a helpless oil rig with 100-mile-per-hour winds for several hours. Water starting to fill up the hull. Fearful rig workers watching the eye of the storm, stalking them on radar.
That's the storm, center of the storm. That's us.
Hours after the storm passed, Noble Corporation quickly released a statement to undercut reports that its rig, the Noble Globetrotter II, was damaged and set adrift. It said the rig maintained stability throughout the weather event and is operating on its own power with functional marine and safety systems. But now the assistant driller on that rig is telling the rest of the story.
At 3 a.m. I woke up to everything in my room slamming across from one side to the other and me getting thrown out of the bed.
Steve Cochran says the rig listed badly to one side and he was thrown against his cabin wall. Water covered the now almost vertical floor.
Towel just so happened to land beside me. And so I'm wiping this floor and crawling up to my bed. I'd wipe a little bit and crawl, and wipe a little bit and crawl. And I did that all the way back to my bed. That's how long we laid on the side. Thoughts going through your head like, you know, this is it. Like this rig, how is this rig not about to flip over right now?
A government investigation found Noble and Shell, the oil company that hired the Noble Globetrotter II to drill a well, made poor operational decisions by waiting on notification of a direct path for Ida rather than following clear schedules for shutting in the well and leaving the area. The government report also blasts Noble for making a last-moment crew change that delayed an operation already hours behind schedule and resulted in a failed evacuation. Cochran was part of that crew change a little more than a day before the storm on the same helicopter being used to evacuate crews from other rigs in the area.
When I landed at 3 p.m. on Friday, I already knew it was too late.
And what went through your mind when you landed and you realized it was already too late?
Get to work. That's all you can do.
Less than a year earlier, another drill ship owned by Transocean also kept working as a storm took aim. That was Hurricane Zeta. A supervisor there, Chris Pleasant, told us the captain wanted to leave but was overruled by the bosses on shore.
I questioned the captain, I said, man, we can't do this. And he said, well, you know how it is, Chris. Right now, they got the upper hand. If we try to challenge them, we'll lose our jobs.
Transocean officials testified in depositions that they tried to get out of Zeta's path. They said they looked at the storm forecasted conditions and didn't have time to leave safely. So they decided to stay connected to the well through a mile-long pipe and a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment called the LMRP. Zeta blew the ship to the point that the pipe almost broke, and when Pleasant hit an emergency disconnect button to unlatch the LMRP, it crashed against the sea floor, causing major damage. When Hurricane Ida came the following year, the Noble Globetrotter II managed to disconnect from its well, but it didn't get to raise its LMRP. It was dragging on the end of a 500-foot riser pipe. It couldn't go more than 3 knots and could not outrun the storm. Ida snapped the Noble Globetrotter II's riser pipe clean off. The LMRP fell to the bottom of the sea. 3 crew members were injured and 88 barrels of oil polluted the Gulf.
I just hope that it's not for a lost cause. I hope that in the future that there's maybe some regulation or maybe some consideration that other people are not having to go through this. I mean, it very easily could have been 115 people killed on that rig.
The Federal Offshore Safety Agency may be cracking down just in time for hurricane season. It has new rules this year requiring rig operators to report specific evacuation schedules and give regular updates on progress, lifting their LMRPs and clearing out ahead of each storm. David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
Well, Noble and Shell both said they respect the findings of the government investigation. Noble said it has taken a leadership role implementing lessons learned, and Shell said it would work to improve operational planning and safety during hurricane season.